Right. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon for our Ag Day 2022. Are you market ready? Tips and best practices for producers to sell to consumers at farmers markets. If you will take our quick poll that we have just to give us a little pulse survey as we're getting started, and I'll share that after we go through the opening remarks. And if you would like to add your name and where you're joining us from and your business to the chat, that would be awesome as well. But if you don't want to do that, that's fine too. And just a few housekeeping things as we are getting started. I am recording today's workshop, and I will send that recording out to you all tomorrow. If you would please keep your microphone muted during the recording. That way that gives us a nice crisp sound. If you would like to use the closed captioning that is available to you on your Zoom menu down at the bottom, if you click that you would like that, that'll prompt me to turn that on. If you have any questions for our presenter, Theresa Nardia, please add those to the chat, and I will make a note of those and add those to our question and answer session this afternoon. All right. For those of you that I haven't met already, my name is Heather Fay, and I'm the Regional Program Director and Botetourt Advisor for the Roanoke Regional Small Business Development Center. We're a small and mighty team that serves small businesses throughout our region, and we offer confidential advising, education, workshops, events, online resources to help your business thrive. We invite you to reach out to us to start a relationship with an advisor and start taking your business to the next level. The Roanoke Regional Small Business Development Center is funded in part through a cooperative agreement with the U.S. Small Business Administration and is supported by America's SBDC, the Virginia SBDC, and the Mason Enterprise Center at George Mason University. Pandemic-related capacity building grant funding has been provided by Go Virginia. Other funding is provided by local administrations, economic development offices, organizations, and businesses that are all champions and in your corner. Thank you so much to our hosts, to the Roanoke Regional Chamber of Commerce, for providing space and support for our work. The Roanoke Regional Small Business Development Center currently serves the Roanoke Valley, Franklin County, Allegheny Highlands, and the New River Valley. We at the Roanoke Regional Small Business Development Center are also a part of the Virginia Small Business Development Center Network, which is an organization comprised of 27 different small business centers across the state of Virginia. And those little triangles denote where the SBDCs are closest to your business. The Virginia SBDC is the most extensive business development program in the Commonwealth. And we have two workshop collaborators today, and those are our friends and colleagues at the Central SBDC and the Loudoun SBDC. Thank you both so much for being willing to be a part of our workshop and collaborating across the state to make this happen. All right, and now I have the pleasure of introducing our speaker today, Dr. Theresa Nardia. Y'all, we have struck gold. She is absolutely amazing, and I am so excited to have her join us today. Dr. Theresa Nardia has over 2 decades, yes, you heard that, 2 decades of service in cooperative extension under her belt. She has worked directly with farmers and local food communities throughout Washington State, North Carolina, and currently in Virginia. She is a professor at Virginia State University in the College of Agriculture and Cooperative Extension Department. She is a tenured professor and a statewide cooperative extension specialist with subject matter expertise in marketing and agribusiness. And I am just so excited. Her bio, y'all, just goes, it's just unbelievable what all she has done. And we are so, so, so excited to have her here today. She has worked on innovative collaboration through cooperative extension, community-based partnerships, and has provided a plethora of technical guidance in the formation for small scale-ups to multi-million-dollar farming and food-related businesses. And she shared something earlier that I thought was just absolutely so on point and is a good follow-on for those of you that joined us in our last session with Rose, is if you have a product that solves a problem, then you have a customer. So Dr. Nardia, thank you so much for being here today. We are so excited to learn from you as we are all anxiously, I know myself, I am ready for the farmers market to open.
Me too.
I know some have already started to open, but that is my Saturday tour with my pups, and we are headed to the market. They know when Saturday comes, they see the market bags come out, and we're ready, and it becomes a most of the day adventure. All right, well, I am going to stop sharing. I'm going to end our poll, and I think you should be able to start sharing. There you go.
Okay, so do you see my screen and I need to put it on the slideshow, right?
Yes, if you'll change it over to the slideshow, then we should be good to go. Though. There you go. Perfect.
Okay, good. So you can see it.
Yes.
First off, I just want to tell each of you, I can't see all of your faces, but it says that there's 42 here. And I'm just so happy that all of you are here. You're alive, you're well. This is going to be the best farmers market season. And I just want you to know I believe in all of you, and I'm also praying for you. So pray for me too as I give this talk, because I was telling Heather that my PowerPoint said it was unstable, and I think it's because I have so many slides, but there's just so much to share with you. Heather, like, I don't know if you're seeing all of these things that are showing up, but it kind of, I have these, do you just see the slides, or do you see a whole lot of stuff?
I just see your slides, Theresa.
Because like other things are seeming to pop up like surveys. So if that happens, I'll try to focus, because I'm one who doesn't focus 100% well. So it was a miracle that I even finished like my doctorate studies and all that mess. So just so you know. Okay, so let's roll into it. Are you market ready? So I'm going to just share with you some tips and best practices that you can have today as you're beginning producers or entrepreneurs to kind of help you to think or frame what you're doing so that you can sell more to your customers at the farmers markets, because that's what it's all about. Selling more, but also that whole experience that Heather talked about. She's so excited about the farmers markets opening. Well, that's how your customers feel. So it really is more than just a marketplace. It's an experience, and you're a part of that. So that's why I have this stage here, because you're on stage. And so we're going to talk about all of that. And I am trying to hit page down. Hello. Okay. I think it's stuck. Gosh, help me. Okay, let's see. What happened? It's stuck, Heather. Oh no.
Let's see.
Hold on, everyone.
What if you stop sharing, Theresa, and then maybe reshare and see if that.
Okay. See, I knew this would happen because I was so excited about this talk. But no doubt, if you can't hear me like talk and warble to you and all this like I do, I actually can send you this PowerPoint. I'll put it on a Google Drive and you can access it if something happens, my friends. So, okay, so what do I need to do, Heather? Okay, now it's moving again. What happened? Okay.
Now it's moving. Yep.
Okay, now I'm just gonna go through it. Okay. What I wanted to say was that, one, you are on stage. So I just want you to remember that it's a whole performance that you're doing. So just get ready to be a show. Okay, so you're performing and then your audience awaits. So what I wanted to say too about that is, we talked about selling more to your customers, but I want us to frame this in a philosophical way. Who is our customer? And here's the quote: a customer is the most important visitor on our premises. They are not dependent on us. We, as vendors, are dependent on them. They are not an interruption in our work when they come and, they're coming and they're early, or they're, all of this stuff that disturbs us. They are not an interruption in our work. They are the purpose of it. They are not an outsider in our business. They are a part of it. We are not doing them a favor by serving them. They are doing us a favor by giving us an opportunity to do so. So just philosophically think about your customer and how important they are, and how it actually, the farmer's market, is just a wonderful opportunity to serve your customers. And that will inform everything that you do. It'll make it the most exciting farmers market season of your life. And then you'll build on that for your most exciting farmers market season next year in 2023. Okay, so here are the best practices and tips that I'm going to cover with you today. And I will let you know that I'm going to put everything on a Google Drive, and then Heather can send you that link, and you can get this PowerPoint and look over it again, because it is just so much to talk about. And I was actually trying to keep it down, but there's just so many steps. And so my heart is always with you as a farmer's market vendor, because there's so much to do before the market, during the market, after the market. So I'm just going to talk through it with you for those, and mostly in light of those who are just starting a market this season. Okay, before the market. Before the market, you have to plan, promote, and price. So I'm going to talk about these three things. Plan, you have to think about your appearance, and you'll have to make up a pitch, about your products. And then you're going to have to consider your foundation. All of this is in the plan, the first part. So your appearance. Important to have clean hands. I only say this because as I go through the farmers markets, and I know that many of you are farmers and you just pull the vegetables out of the garden, out of the field, but your customers, they don't really know that. They'll just like block out all of your hard work and just look at your hands, and maybe your hands have Band-Aids, and then they'll get worried and they'll go to the next vendor, or your hands are dirty. Just wash up, before. I mean, I know this is just a practical thing, and I'm just mentioning it now, and for you to think about when you're planning to keep your hands clean, and Band-Aid any cuts and stuff like that. Okay. The second thing is clean clothing, because I know that, once again, so tired. We used to run a farmer's market here for the university, and I have to actually, after getting all that stuff from the field with the students, then have to go change into some clean overalls, because the other professors or the shoppers, they're going to notice, oh my goodness. So just another note to yourself, write that down. Just have a clean change of clothing. Sometimes, some vendors actually have a clean apron that they just put on if they couldn't change their clothes. So anyway, just a note. And then secured hair, especially like if you have a lot of hair, like some people, and then, just tie it up in a ponytail so it doesn't get in all the baskets and things when you're putting your display up. I see Sarah's laughing, but it's true. Okay. And then here's about your pitch. Okay. In planning, you have to come up with a pitch. So I want you to think, can you please know at least one interesting fact about each product you put on the table? Because your customers may ask you about them, and you want to sell that product, and it's only going to take one interesting fact to do it. so try to, before you go and put everything up there, and while you're putting it up and displaying, just think about if they have something to say about it. That will make that product sell and sing. Okay. And then anticipate your customers' questions. They're going to ask you things like, how do I use and store this? Will this keep for like a week? How much do I need? So you can actually prepare, if you'd like, or make signage that kind of says on it, how do you store, like, these are fresh figs. They need to be placed in your refrigerator, so refrigerate immediately, or whatever you need to say, to kind of explain to people their questions. And if you have this prepared, like a handout, a care sheet, or something like this, or can put that, if some of you may have Facebook or social media, kind of put, these are things I have that are going to be at the market, and here's some care sheets, you know, on that. So just kind of keep in mind, put forth in your mind the kinds of questions your customers are going to ask about your product. So that's your pitch. Okay, now we're coming to that other part, your foundation. The foundation of any display is your tent and your table. So I'm going to talk a little bit about this. About tent tips. Tents, really, they're not an option because it shows a professionalism, just having the tent. I've known some, when I've walked some markets, some beginning folks will, or vendors might not have a tent. They'll have like an umbrella, or just put their table out, but the tent actually speaks before you, displays before you even are there. It gets their attention. So what I want to say is, look, when you get a tent, look for one that has a wind vent on top, because if it doesn't, it can get picked up and can fly away sometimes with the wind. Look for one with sidewalls, because sometimes if you are at the market and you're not ready to just have people coming up before the market time and you're still setting up, you can hide under the sidewalls and protect yourself while you're setting up, so no one's asking you questions and you don't get frazzled, because that can happen. And the last thing you want to do is be frazzled, because you're going to have to perform and smile. Okay, so look also for a white color. I see sometimes at the market, some people will pick their favorite colors like purple or red to have their tent. But the white color is very good because it reflects the light onto the product. So always defer to, if you're picking a tent, a white tent. And then also, you want to secure that tent for safety. Just recently, one of the farmers markets that I was managers that it was talking with said that during a windy time, one of the tents actually flew and it hurt someone. So we have to think about securing your tent for safety. So I'll show you. One of the most, I'm not saying I recommend this, but this is one I found. You can Google, but this was an affordable, easy up tent. None of them are really, in my mind, easy up, as you know, being myself at my age, trying to put up these tents. But this one is professional looking. It has the hiding walls. It has the roller bag all together. It is worth the price. So that is one, but you can go search for tents, and if you get something that is similar, that'll be wonderful. Okay, now about securing for safety, I don't know if you know this, but windblown canopies are the #1 cause of property loss and injury at outdoor events where the canopies are used. So it's not about, you know, if it'll happen. I think it's when it's going to happen. So just be careful, because I don't want any one of you to be hurt, or any customers. So just think about this. That's why this is foundational. So you do it because of dangerous winds. You do it, and by using manageable weights. You want to aim for 40 pounds per tent leg on a 10 by 10 tent, and 50 pounds if you were using an umbrella. But I'm just talking, you know, about the tent too. You still need to stabilize this for everyone's protection. So a potential option that you can, I'll tell you where you can search for this is you get these refillable bags that they sell on Amazon. You just say tent weights, and you can fill them with sand and, you know, get to that weight. You can basically just look on Google canopy tent weights and search for different ones and see which ones are doable for you. Some seem very heavy and hard to manage, but the ones that you fill with sand, I like those a lot, and I feel they're manageable for someone like myself. Okay, so table tips. Tables, I'm going to talk about what might be a best option for you. How do you arrange those? I'm going to talk about levels and then covering the table. Okay, so let's talk the table. Again, I found this example, and this is what we use. What I see a lot of folks using are these 5-foot centerfold tables. Why 5 foot? The reason being is that a typical tent, like the one that you see at the marketplace, is 10 feet. So you can actually put these side by side when your tent gets you get more product during the season. You can put them side by side and do other things. I also like the centerfold table because you don't have to, you can actually carry it like a luggage and fold it and so on. So that is very helpful for us, you know, as we're preparing for setting up the market display. So I actually suggest something, and it's unusual, but I think it might help us as we are going through the season, because in the beginning of the season, we may not have a lot of produce or products. And then as we go through the season, more products. So you have to think and plan again for how your product line will grow through the season. So I suggest you buy 4 tables and change them weekly, and then rearrange on your table when the stock is dwindling. Rearrange the tables when the stock dwindles. And then remember this, that the table is the last thing you pack on your vehicle, because it's the first thing you're going to have to take off, okay? I've made that mistake. I've seen the mistake when I go and visit farmers markets. Don't make this mistake, okay? Okay, I want to start with the first thing. When you have just one table, you can put it, and then I put the back of the tent. Imagine this is a tent. So during the beginning, putting that table on there, but I'm pointing at it and you can't see me, but you know that you can change where you position that one table, because if you put it closer to the edge of the tent, then you create a barrier to the customers. So they're not, they're just going to stop at the table. But if you want them to go in and engage more, then you're putting the tent farther back into the tent, putting the table farther back into the tent. So just consider how important the table placement is. So let me just go through this little funny thing I did. Here you could do it like this and make people go in and around, a little activity around your table. You could then, you know, when things get a little better, you know, more stuff, you put the tables such as this, and, you know, they can come in. You could do it like this, where you're making a V, and, you know, people love to go in funnels like that. So you're bringing them in and they're looking at everything like that. Another, with the 2 tables, you can make this like this and set up your display in that way. This way, I'm not going to talk them through. I'm just going to now go through. You can see that with the configuration of tables, you can make an exciting display with your tables every single week of the market season, and they're thinking they've got some new store to go to, and you're not doing anything but switching out the tables. This is a retail trick they play on us all the time at every store. Just change your little setup and you've got it going on, okay? You will sell more just on this. Okay, now we're going to the levels. One, I want to talk about making shelves, adding some interest and comfort reach. Okay, About the table, covering the table. The tablecloth is not optional. You want to use one that is white clean, and a white clean is easiest. I see sometimes, and I actually think is very cute to put like quilts on the table and or cloth sheets and so on as a tablecloth. Only problem is like you're really tired after the market, and you know it's easier to just shake that thing out and hang it up and let it dry than to just then go and get that, because sometimes you find that your tablecloth, if you weren't like disciplined and you got tired and you fell asleep, then next time you go and you try to get your tablecloth, it's all moldy. So don't do that. So just get one that's white clean, and then try for minimal or no wrinkle.
Schedule me like an 11 o'clock tomorrow. Let's just let me be.
Sorry, I hear something. Okay. Okay, so here's where you could buy a tablecloth. I found this is actually the ones we use, and I suggest them because they're very sturdy and they're affordable. This is a Mainstay brand. Okay, so you know where that is, Walmart. Okay, so I'm going to now show you about making the shelf, adding interest and comfort reach. Here's the table. I'm making the first level, and so I'm opening it, covering it. Then I use these little buckets and big buckets to make like to make a shelf. So like this, I just take a plywood piece, and you know, you probably have that laying around at the farm, I hope, because wood has skyrocketed in price. But anyway, you could go ahead and make yourself a shelf that way. And then here's another way to make a shelf with just the 5-gallon buckets you might have laying around. And then you just cover those up with your tablecloth and it looks all right. It's fine. You've got levels. Okay. Now you can see that someone has done something similar, but they instead have used like benches to make levels. The thing about levels, and I want to mention, is that looking here, I'm circling it. Customers do not like to bend. They do not like to bend down at all. So do not put any products on the ground. It's also a food safety issue to put any products on the ground. So I think levels are a must. And looky here, they don't have a tablecloth. Now, wouldn't that look great with a tablecloth? But it looks good. But a tablecloth, shoot it out the roof there. Okay. So now we are to that part about promoting. I want to tell you this because I work a lot with the farmers market managers, and they get a lot of burden about this, but promoting your farm, it's not someone else's job. That's your job, and you can do it. You can even do things where you collect the business cards of your customers every week, and you ask, you know, if they would like to be on a mailing list. You could have a little mailing list clipboard, and they could put their name there for mailing list. And then you can email them a reminder that says, love to see you at the market on this day. We're going to have these ready for you. Something where you're making a connection. I know, like, you could even do, I'm old fashioned. As you remember, I've been around for like working 20 years or so. But I think emails mean a lot personally. However, you know, if you're really good at social media, then go ahead and send your reminders that way, because you've cultivated that kind of community. So whatever you do, just know that you're a part of making that connection. And when you are a successful vendor, then the whole farmers market is. And then include, if you were to email and you want them to come to the market, you could actually put in some appreciation deal in the email. So just say that you saw my email, and you can have, you know, whatever you think is doable. Maybe you could say, if you buy 4 tomatoes, then I will give you 1 tomato or something like that. I don't know what you'll do because inflation and everything, but just be creative. I actually need to sit down quietly and think about all the like different appreciation deals and then send a list to everyone. But I'll work on it on my list of to-dos. Okay. Price. One thing I want to talk about, especially for the beginning farmers market vendors this year, is about prices. A lot of times, prices are developed because we look at what our neighbors' prices are. But I want to share with you that you need to determine your prices based on, based on what it costs to produce, and looking at if you must and you don't know the cost to produce, then you might not be ready for the market. But if you needed to look at different prices around the state or around the nation or at grocery stores just to get a comparison, I'm just gonna bring up these different price databases so you can check it out, and it might help inform how you price. The first one is the Virginia Department of Agriculture. You can actually go here, and if you look, they have the market pricing from 2021 going all the way down to 2017. And if you click on that link, you can find the prices. And so all the prices all at markets all across the state for different products. So you can kind of get an idea about last year, about, to inform you. This is always good to be informed about pricing. Here, they actually, I just clicked further, and then they kind of even showed a breakout of the average prices for products over a time span of 5 years and kind of see the average. So it's nice to kind of take a look at that. They also have the ones for the meat prices, which I think you can see like the different pricing. So it's interesting, and it might help. And then see, I'm just copying the screenshots, but you can go there, and again, you'll have this PowerPoint to look at later, where you can find all the local prices of all different kinds of products in Virginia, if you go and go to this link. And then also, if you're curious, and this is regional details for the Southeast United States, and this actual report, I think it's like 20 pages. I mean, it just goes down and has organic and all the different kinds of products you might see at the grocery store but it's good to know what the grocery stores are charging, because your customers have kind of a framework of in their mind, they will pay for the experience, but in their mind, they also reference back to what they saw at a grocery store. So you just kind of want to be able to have that conversation, because I have a feeling that you're probably cheaper. Okay, especially for local food products. And then local harvest is very nice. I think you can search Virginia farms and different products and kind of see what people are charging for different products, that are either local or or very artisan farm types of products. And so now we are to the part of during the market. The show is on, so you're prepared. Your breathing is racing and all this, and you're ready for the market. So let us talk about your display. Changing product locations weekly, changing your tablecloth frequently to maybe match seasons, and then highlighting new items weekly. These are some tips for your display every week. Remember when I showed you about the tables? Well, just because you put the sunflowers on this corner of the table this time, make them search for the product and put it somewhere else, because they, especially if the product is one that sold well the week before. If it sold well the week before, move it, because then you can highlight some other product where they think they're going to look that maybe wasn't selling, and then move the other one because they're going to want that over somewhere else. So they're going to have to touch it, just like a real store. I say about the changing tablecloths frequently because I think it's kind of cute when you have the holidays coming and you have like Easter eggs for Easter and just some things like that. They always have seasonal wiping clean wipe tablecloths. Just take a look at them, and then if you're really smart and you're prepared next year, when the sales happen during the year and everything is like 75% off, okay, do that. Okay, and then of course through emails and through signage, just be sure to like highlight the new items, because that just brings up some excitement, you know, with your customers. Now about the displays tips for the produce. I'm just going to talk about the importance of color, using baskets and how that can be, and then about the importance of bounty. They say like piled up high and then you're going to sell. So, you know, I know there was a rhyme, but I forgot it. But anyway, so let me talk about this real quick. Color, you want to mix up your colors because you don't want to have a monotone display. And I think that's that happens a lot in the beginning of the farmers market season, because all we have is greens. So, you know, I'm going to talk about that, varying your colors and then putting yellow up front in your display. Here is what I mean about the fact that if you have all the same color, the only thing that is saving the farmer right now is the fact that they have a colorful tablecloth, but that helps. What I would even suggest is, you see that they had the honey on the side. I would have asked the farmer when they were setting up that they just intersperse the little honeys in between the baskets, or where the greens are spilling out. Make divisions with colorful things, not to have them. This is beautiful, by the way. It's beautiful and it's artistic, but it's just all one color is all. And you can see that it's not exciting, not to mention the pricing isn't very good, but we'll talk about that later. Okay, here is a similar situation, but they have varied the colors, and that's because it's the height of summer. So, you know, you have that ability, but when things are monotone, think of putting other things in the display to accent color, and, you know, to put some color and excitement into the display. And then about creating abundance, using baskets is an important thing, and then varying the sizes based on the volume of the product. So what I mean is, use small baskets if you have a little bit of product, just so it looks like it's presenting as it's heaping full and they're the first person to see it. If it use the larger baskets for a lot of product, and then you can even take when the products is winnowing down in the large basket, move it to a smaller basket, medium basket, smaller basket. Just make sure to keep things looking full. You know how you feel when you go to the store and the displays, or you go to the farmer's market and the display isn't full looking. It kind of makes you kind of feel like, oh, I'm just picking the seconds or the last, and I don't know. You know, so just remember, that's how your customers feel. So it's worth the effort to do this, keeping a bounty looking bountiful thing. Here's another example at a farmer's market. These are looking picked through. So what do I suggest? You can use these door stops like from the hardware store. They have them all different size. If you don't want to buy those, I mean, you can just take scrap wood, a rock, I don't care, something, and use these to lift the basket or whatever you're doing, such as that. Just using that made it look like there was more in the basket by just giving a little angle there and just kind of, you know, shimmying it. So you can definitely do that. And I also thought it was nice where they did put some leftover peppers in there, but it kind of like helps the basket to look less monotone. I would have actually put the tomatoes in the middle and then had those two colors separated. That's what I mean about you got to zhuzh up the colors a lot. Okay. And this is what happens where some of you that are beginning, you can make something look full, but not fill the whole basket, because the basket will then get a bunch of soggy, ruined product at the bottom. So just use the top of a 5-gallon bucket in your typical vegetable type of bushel baskets, and those will lift it up nice. And I see that like at some farmers markets. I think this is a very old picture that I had from the North Carolina market. So, but I like it. And here is again, this just that thing I showed you before about the monotone. Try to have things spilling out, because people just love somehow things spilling out. People don't like messes, but they love things spilling out for some reason. So, you know, okay, now, you know, the thing is, I wanted to say about produce. Produce almost sells itself because it is so beautiful, so desired. The struggle is when the meat farmers, and some of you might be meat farmers, I'm not sure, but I had to address this because there is just the trouble with selling meat. So I want to talk about this a little bit with you all that are in this boat. Meat is just hard to display, period. So one, you have to store it in closed coolers for food safety. I suggest using meat drawings, and I'll show you some of that. And then get people in the thought of buying meat, because nothing makes someone want to buy meat more than like thinking about their family getting together for a barbecue, or, you know, or even having some kind of thing where you look like a meat expert and dress it up like a butcher or something. So I'm going to suggest, if you're a meat farmer or you need to keep things in coolers, show pictures of each product in the cooler, so they don't actually go and open the cooler and ruin the temperature, you know, like opening it up, closing it, that's no good. So you can show a picture of each product on the cooler. And then for food safety, let us help you sign, so the customers aren't always handling everything. And then you can take the pre-orders if you have a relationship with your customers, take pre-orders for the market, and then have reserve coolers for the pre-orders. So you've actually made a sale before the market. I want to talk about the meat drawings. You want to show cuts, and you can educate with drawings, and that helps to cause your customers to feel nostalgic. Here's one, and that all those thoughts come in a picture like this. You can actually teach or educate your customers, edu-marketing, I guess, and show, like, draw on your chalkboard an outline of whatever animal it is, and then you can show where the different meats come off of the animal, and that will draw people in. And it's actually a wonderful teaching lesson for children that come to the market too, to kind of have a conversation about, like, well, you know, this is actually something that, like, had to be, like, it's all a part of this story. So, you know, just kind of think about it. And as far as barbecue and butcher decor ideas for the meat farmers, you can sell alongside maybe some local made barbecue sauce. Maybe you can create one with your farm label in a certified kitchen, and then sell that product, and have either barbecue and marinade recipes, or create your own barbecue or types of value-added food products that go with your meat.
Female island.
And then have, like, place around your display wood chopping boards. You can have, like, I've seen one where someone bought a little charcoal grill, put it up on the table, and, you know, just kind of make it a cute display, because you're putting on a show, you know, to get people to come and look and be curious. Have wood chips on there, and, you know, have your little barbecue apron, like you're barbecuing, spatulas, whatever. And then here are some pictures that I wanted to show you. Here's a display here, and I think it's nice where at the top of the tent they actually put very large, where the customer could read beef, pork, lamb, what the banner with the meat names. that's very good and a thoughtful thing to say. Also, it's easy to read that sign at the front of the tent to draw people to the actual storefront or the tent. And then I like this sign because I see all kinds of signs, but this is an organized sign. And now let me point out with my little mouse, this alone, this pasture raised everything, that statement alone is enough to draw a customer in to look further. And then they assemble their information by pork, eggs, beef, and lamb, and then break down that simply. And with the prices are shown in a different color. So this is an effective signage and can be even done, say, with produce items or whatever, you know, or value, just whatever you have, just make it organized and think about your customer when you do signage like this. This is a very thoughtful type of, a lot of products, but well thought out in that signage. Then with, again, this applies, but for the farmers, and I'll talk about it again and reinforce it, but signs, when you make signs, make sure that you step away 3 feet from your display and see if you can read the signs. If you cannot read the signs from 3 feet away, do you think your customers will be able to read it? This is especially very important for farmers that or vendors that do not have products displayed, like the vegetables and produce that talks. If you have goat soaps and things like this, those things talk. But if you have nothing and everything's in cooler, no talking. So the signs is going to do your talking. So he has a close-up sign, but he also has this large sign. So you're going to have to maybe think about that. And again, the coolers are on the ground here, and I talked about that. Don't have the coolers where the customer has to bend. You can place the coolers on a table, just keep them off the ground. And then again, here you see in some cases there might be smudging. So I'll mention this later about using a special product for chalkboards called chalk ink, so to avoid smudging. This here is also for marketing anything, but for beef especially, or for like meats especially. Think about what if you just take off it on your tent and extend a sign out to direct people with an arrow to your tent if you're in a sea of tents. And then also this bright yellow signage will capture attention of folks, because yellow is the color that makes people like pause. They pause and think when they see yellow, which is why I always suggest, if you can and you have sunflowers or something yellow, always put it somewhere on your display, because it makes people hesitate, like the yellow light in a stoplight. Here again, for the meat farmer, I'm just trying to give you all these ideas over the years, like that are good or something to think about. Place your items in frames if you want, and just make it look nice. This farmer did, and with the freezer behind them, so they see the prices on the frames, and that kind of invites a conversation. Placing the signs on the cooler, such as this farmer did. They put the what's in there, and then organize. Look how they organize so neatly in there. If they were going to have someone, they could pick the products right out of there. So neat in little compartments. Very nice. And then again, here is my example about the signage is hard to read from a distance. They did do good about putting the coolers on top. So they also did something here that you might consider, no matter what kind of farmer you are, if you have little products and you want to hang them on the tent, and people might look at them, like for pet treats, that this farmer did that, and so on. So remember about your signage, because if it's hard to read, you might not make that sale. And again, placing tent sign on the frame is very visible and helps. Having a large, simple tent sign, look at here, just fresh local meat. You could say fresh local something for yours, and have that to draw people in. Here they put the cooler in the truck, so nobody's really touching it. And I like this nice little poster. Might be something, you know, if there's a lot of competition in your market, to consider like having a large type of sign. And I was talking to Heather earlier about writing some kind of grant. Maybe a grant could be written for farmers that are low limited resource, to create these signages that you could maybe have that market your farm. So maybe Heather, put that in your little thinking cap, you know, because we need to write grants, you know, keep ourselves in business. I hate that. I hate that so. But anyway, again, look at this colorful signage. Large product names here, colorful, different writing of each one. This captures the eye, even though the customer can't come in and take a look at the products. They can see it, and you know, your signage can actually be part of the display if you don't have something to show like produce. And then ice meats, how they do that, need to keep extra attention, keeping that cold but attractive. So you're going to have to walk around with a thermometer, making sure it's correct. And then keeping these meats are samples, but keep the cooler in the back. And again, I like this one because the signage is very simple, and they put the prices like that. I mean, prices are expensive. And then again, ice meat in a container, but this time they put it in a basket. That looks a lot prettier than the other farmer before. And then they use different basket shapes, and I talked a little bit about that. So use the baskets to your advantage. And then notice how they crossed out the different items. If you put sold out on something and you do that, that increases what is called this new term for millennials, FOMO, which is fear of missing out. If you just put sold out somewhere as you go, they're going to come and race to your little tent the next week, because they do not want to miss out on the product because you sold out last week. So that's just a special hint when you have millennial types of customers. Okay, display tips for value added. See how much about the meat, but I always get that complaint about like, Therese, you don't talk about meat. So now I just threw them all in there. So, okay, display tips for value added. I want you to think about arranging by price. So you are creating sections of your value added product, and you have going from, let me think as I go through this, depending on how the crowd is walking by, and you are taking your display, arrange from as they walk, go low price, medium price, high price. So they're going up to a tolerance level of pricing, where the highest one is where they're eventually going to want to buy, and they deserve it. But at least you winnow them in with value-added products being expensive to go, oh, here's the low end. If I just go up a dollar more, I think I'll get this. But you know what? Doggone it. I've had a hard week. I deserve like the best luxury. I'm going to take this one that I just walked. I want this one. I deserve it. See? You've sold it. You've sold more. Okay, so that's an idea and a tip to take home. The next is to arrange your products by type. So you know, don't mix all your jams. I'm just saying, here's another example. Don't mix all your jams and stuff, or your breads, all different. People have different taste sensations that they like. So put all the sweet breads here, or whatever is a top seller. Start with the top seller and then get them down, but break it up by, you know, sweet, savory, mild, whatever, hot, or if you have hot sauce, mild, medium, and then hot, and then very hot, and then explosion, you know, like that. You know, so think about how you arrange stuff by type with the value added products. And then I like to ask you, to remember how people love to enjoy the display, arrange, if possible, your products. I've seen this done with soaps and jams or just all kinds of flowers and so on. Arrange it by color like a rainbow, all the reds here, all the purples here, and so on, so on. See how that looks. You are just going to be thrilled out of your mind. And then some of your customers are going to take pictures because they love to take selfies, and they're gonna like promote your vendor, your store. Okay, other tips about value added. You can place products on varying heights, kind of using cake stands or different heights. You can be creative there. You can display in your baskets or crates, and you can even create gift sets. Your customer does not like to think a lot. They're relaxing. They're coming to the market. So why don't you help them to help themselves? If you can take some of your value-added products and group them as a gift set, then even on the side, sell some gift certificates or greeting cards. You've then packaged a whole present for your customer, and they can buy it and go on their way, and you've probably sold like 5 products at once. So just think about that. Now, here I actually thought was really pretty, but this value added vendor actually created a custom shelf, and now we can do the tasting again at the farmers market. So carefully, but basically, see how they did the rainbow, see how they have the different heights. It's all just saying to someone, come and see me and come and buy these products, and the person's smiling too. So good show. Here about prepared foods. Here's one with the cupcakes. Protective packaging, of course, because of what happened with COVID, but you never know when your customer is going to sneeze on stuff. Also adding your farm labels, simple circle labels here that they printed, I get on their home printer. But then if you eventually scale up and you're doing well, then you'll be buying, these labels in bulk. Value pricing, you can think about with prepared foods, thinking about offering 1 for $2.50 maybe, and then 2 for $4. Kind of think about how they can buy more, but you're not losing any money. So think about pricing again like this. Now for the flower farmers, that stuff sells itself. I don't even know why I bother, but basically pre-made bouquets. Why don't you again help your customer and come up with some pre-made bouquets? Some I have seen actually where the farmer actually just puts it in a mason jar and sells the whole thing for $10 and so on. Here's one for $5, but depending on the market and what the market will carry, but everyone likes to splurge on fresh flowers. It's such a treat. And then you can also do something where you have different containers of flowers, and you can have them make their own. But the only trick about those make your own situations is that you're charging by the stem, and then you don't want to put too many in the basket, because sometimes what happens is they'll break the other flowers. So either you make different bouquets of only single flowers, and then they buy all these different bouquets, and then they make their own, or you let them pick stems or whatever. You'll just have to experiment. But the thing is with flowers, to engage the customer so they spend more time in the actual in your actual storefront, so they buy more. And then price by size, the different flowers, pricing by size, that's a thought. And then have care instructions, and then you can again sell the vases. Maybe they're not even in the flower bouquets are not made already. You're just selling some vases and so on. And then selling cards as well. I've actually seen one farmer create their own cards. They hand paint them, and they're selling their cards with their product, honey. and people buy them, and the crazy card costs more than the honey because it's a handmade card, but people buy them. So I think the sky's the limit about creativity and selling and everything. It's you can do it. So again, with the baskets, I'm talking about them. It's important. Use food grade poly baskets. See this basket? Doesn't it look real? It looks real, doesn't it? It's made of plastic. Isn't that amazing? Anyway, so I have different ones of these, and I have circles and circles and rectangles and squares for different interests depending. I have light and dark tones in various shapes for interest. And if you go to Google again, and you type in polypropylene sloped basket or polypropylene basket or something, you have to put that in. And then you go and you will find different ones at different price points, and you can start populating your basket collection, and then they'll call you a basket case. I actually made that my Halloween costume. I had all of these baskets from the farm display, and then I just put them all around me. You should see it. I should send the picture, but I won the prize. So I was a basket case for real. So it can be done. So now back to signage. I talked about it. Anyone needs to go ahead, you know, no problem, because you'll have this video later. You'll have this later to look at. Chalkboard adds value, read from 3 feet away. And I'm asking you to think about putting your price in 2 locations, like buy the product and then in another chalkboard sign elsewhere. And then use the signs to educate. And then also, look at someone's calling. Oh no, I'm not answering it. I'm deleting it. Oh no, it's my boss. Okay. Why does this happen to me? Okay, about this. Okay, we'll just keep on talking here. Signage tips. Use the signs to educate. Add pictures, add prices, add did you know facts, okay? And here's some signage that I've helped farmers with in the past. We had this turmeric, so we did a whole signage that has the price, why it's worth it, how much is in a week's supply, and stock up and all this kind of thing. You can be very creative and use your signs as edutainment, educational signs. Now here's some more. Again, I use just pictures. I just drew these with chalk ink, and it has all the stuff about, you know, it draws them into the product. So it's a superfood, blah, 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 you know, do some signage like that. And then here, another one that I made, like just to show the eat your colors and so on. I actually, Heather, and hopefully I can come and teach the farmers, because I teach this all on chalkboard, how to make the signs. So here's the one with signs. Here's one with no signs. It's nice. And here's one with signs. It looks better. And then this is a place where you could, if you wanted to purchase some signs, you could. This is what I use on the baskets. You can actually clip these on the baskets and actually put your sign on there, and it holds onto your sign. So Staples has them if you go look in their garage sale sign section. Chalk ink. This is something I mentioned about if you don't want your chalk designs to smear, then you can purchase chalk ink, and that's what I use to make all those chalk drawings. And you have to clean them off because they'll stay. If you don't want it to be permanent after every market, you have to erase it. And then the other thing that I think is important is credit card signage. If you're not taking credit cards, especially with people being afraid of, you know, touching and things, and it's almost like a cashless society, then shoppers spend 30% more when they pay by credit card. So if shoppers leave to go get cash, they're probably not going to come back. So why not make a sign that says you accept these major credit cards, and then also look into it if you're not accepting credit cards to think about doing that. Now, again, I wanted to let you know that over the years, as I helped farmers, and agents who work with farmers, I've created different templates. And if you want to email me and you want me to think with you and your agent or whatever, have a class about these creating templates, you can basically print these chalkboard signs if you don't feel like drawing or whatever, and the templates, and fill in your farm name and blah, blah, blah. I think I've done some for lamb and beef or whatever. We could do some. And then produce. This is a set that I made for our teachable stand, but basically these are templates and you can just type over what you want. But look at what I'm saying. It has some information that the customer wants. Tastes like candy, sugar sweet, says what it is, brown turkey figs, says that it's local grown. Always with your wording, you want to use green when you say local grown, because that helps the customer to just cement in their mind that it's, natural. The pricing, have different price scales. And then it says, eat fresh or serve on a cheese and meat platter. See? It's kind of like, and again, here, we're almost done, Heather. Don't forget the bags. You can hang the bags above the display. You can put on a shepherd's hook and you can place in a basket like this, like for the bags. And thoughts on recipes, change through recipes weekly, write on chalkboards, use as many of your products as possible when you're doing recipes. Think about your customer being gluten-free. They love smoothies, they love appetizers, they love dips, they love snacks. This is a snacking nation. With any recipes, consider your customer that they want it quick. Prep to table, 30-minute or less only recipes, and then 5 to 10 ingredients using mostly pantry staples. Those are the kind of recipes I want you to think about. And lastly, to practice food safety, and there's a very good introduction to food safety, and I'll make sure that Heather has this actual handout. It's a one-pager that tells you all the pertinent regulations for farmers market vendors per product. Very important. After the market, some market afterthoughts. Why not do a post-market email survey? Ask your customers what products they like. Ask what products they did not like, and give a coupon if they respond, because that's going to help you to sell more at the farmers market. And one more thing is, have you ever thought of loyalty cards? You could make your products be like buy 10 things and then they get one free or something like that. Just think about it. So summary, we're done, Heather. Thank goodness. Planning is needed before the market. You are on stage during the market. Keep improving your market. Okay. Okay, that's it. But I had a big tip. If you're going to hang around, you might as well hang around for this one. Here is what I want to tell you, because we need self-care here right now. Everybody is suffering. There's a lot of issues, and I told you a whole lot, and it's blowing your mind, and you're freaking out maybe, but I just want you to say, let it go, be gentle on yourself. And then you have permission to do that. And this is from this art piece that I have, and I look at it, and I thought, I need to share this with the farmers today, because it's a lot of stress, in the world right now. So I want you to take care of yourself, and I'm going to read this little poem to you. You have permission. Permission is granted to say no, to cancel plans, and you can read it too, to take as long as you need, to change your mind, to stand your sacred ground. Permission is granted to take a nap, to restore and rest, to tune out so you can tune in, to drive slow, to live slow. Permission is granted to tell your story, to ask for forgiveness, to wander, to take up space, to not know the lyrics, to sing anyway. Permission granted to surround yourself with only those who delight your spirit, to wear whatever brings you joy, to shine, to play big. And finally, permission is granted to choose yourself over mighty to-do lists, because you are worth choosing. So I gave you all these to-do lists. I told you that, but you know what? It's up to you. You can let it go. I want you to be gentle on yourself, okay? And that is it. I want you to know you matter. That is my phone number. If you remember nothing else, you can give me a call. You need some encouragement. That's my whole purpose in life. I think that's my spiritual gift, encouragement. My email is tnartea@vsu. If you have questions, I'm giving all this information to Heather, and she will email you this information with the link where you can go get it. And that is the end. And this is your beginning. So thank you so much. You're a blessing to me.
Thank you so much, Dr. Nardia. This was absolutely phenomenal. I was someone posted in the chat, there's been so much good feedback and
Thank goodness.
great information. I was like, man, we could go for hours with your energy and knowledge.
Imagine I had so much, there's even more to tell you, but I'd have to come and visit you and talk to you and show you.
We're hoping for it in person, hopefully next year.
Yes.
Thank you so much. This was great information. I cannot thank you all enough for making time to be here. I know we ran a little bit long, but Dr. Nardia had so much information. I was like, so I noted for next year, we need to have a longer presentation time.
I know.
It was.
I don't even drink coffee. This is me right now. Imagine what I'm like normally. Oh, God.
That is fantastic. Well, a couple of quick things as we're wrapping up. As Dr. Nardia said, we will be sending out her slide deck and the recording. And if I have posted our post-event survey, if you don't mind taking a minute to just pop your thoughts into that. And we have one more presentation this evening for Ag Day 2022 with one of our colleagues, French Price, who's going to be speaking about facilitating value chain connections and managing near-term demands for long-term gains. I have posted that in the chat. If you'd like to join us, you can still register. That's the beauty of online. You can register up until right when we're getting ready to start. And thank you all for posting your emails. I've got all those jotted down and we'll be getting this information out to you. And like Theresa said, we're here for you and we are excited to be able to support you on your journey. So if you have questions, don't hesitate to reach out. I'll include the SBDC contact information here locally and then across the state, as well as Dr. Nardia's information. If you have questions, and in the immediate, I just want to say thank you again, and I hope you all have a great rest of your day. And I apologize we didn't have time for question and answer, but please reach out to us and we'll make sure we get the questions over to Dr. Nardia so you can have some additional support. And thank you all so much, and we will see you hopefully soon. Take care.